we shall begin today's webinar shortly. So if you have friends or you have any relative who is interested to join in our webinar today, do invite them, or they can also view this webinar through our Utah Facebook page, Utah for You. Okay, so good afternoon everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. It's Friday, and today we will be having another alumni sharing series. I am glad that you are here with us this afternoon to find out more about today's topic. Think ahead, be ready. My name is Jean, and I will be your moderator for today. So today's webinar will take approximately 1 hour, where between 30 to 40 minutes will be the sharing session from our speaker today, and the remaining time will be used for Q&A session. So if you have any questions for us, do put your questions in the chat box. So let us not take much of your time. And today, I'm honored to have Mr. Alex Chong with us today to share his story and experiences. So before we start, let me give you a short introduction about Mr. Alex. So Mr. Alex is a graduate from the Bachelor of Commerce Accounting program at our Utah campus in the year of 2017. He graduated, and apart from his studies as an accounting student, Mr. Alex has been an active member of the Wushu Club. With his passion and enthusiasm for sports, he has actually participated and won several awards, which includes the winning of the gold medal in the 57 kg male kickboxing event at the Unleashed Fight Night 2016. And he was awarded as the Utah Sportsperson of the Year in the year 2017. After graduating, Mr. Alex has secured himself a job in the accounting industry. Within a short period of time, he has recently completed his ACCA and is currently an official member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Alex Chong.
Hello. Yeah, thanks, Jean, and thanks for having me here today. I'm Alex Chong. I'm currently working in PricewaterhouseCoopers Singapore as a senior associate doing assurance, which is also known as audit. So I'm an Ipoh boy. Had my secondary studies in one of the very fantastic schools, Samtet Ipoh. And after getting my SPM result, I had my pre-university qualification, which is Foundation in Arts under Accountancy and Management, Utah. Then subsequent to that, I had my degree program, which is Bachelor of Commerce Accounting in Kampar campus, and graduated in May 2017. So during my studies in Utah, other than competitions that Jean has mentioned, I was also one of the EXCO members in Wushu Club and had some great experience in managing clubs and society organizing events. Then after I got my degree, I joined PwC Malaysia as an assurance associate. And I had my further studies of ACCA to get my professional qualification. Then after around 2 years plus of working in PwC Malaysia, I got my ACCA qualification. So then I moved to Singapore. So here I am now.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. So you're currently the Assurance Senior Associate at PwC Singapore, right? So can you tell us more about why you choose to work in Singapore, and was it difficult to switch or to move to a whole new environment in Singapore? How did you overcome this transition period?
Actually, working in overseas and Singapore is part of my career plan, and Singapore is top in the list. So as I mentioned earlier, so after 2 years plus of working, I was lucky enough to complete my professional ACCA papers and progress to senior associate. But before that, I think it's important to mention about my first working experience, not assurance associate, but I will see my internship experience as my first working experience. So as you guys know that we will need to complete 3 months of internship as part of our degree courses in Utah. So during that period of time, I was fortunate enough to get an internship opportunity in PwC Malaysia in assurance department doing audit. So I think internship plays a very important part of my career. because that's the first time for every student to enter workplace, not as a permanent staff, but as a student. So there was a lot of advantage working as a student. There's a better reason for you to make mistake, and everyone knows that you are learning, you are new. So I was lucky enough to have a very great internship experience in PwC Malaysia. I did some hands-on working on audit engagement and attended to some clients. So I really appreciate the learning experience, and I will recommend all the students out there to take internship take internship seriously. Do plan earlier, plan what you wish to achieve and what you want to have during your internship. So I think think ahead and plan earlier is very important. So after finish my internship, so I was back in Utah to finish my last semester. I'll say that that's also a very important period of time where for you all to assess your plan and then set some intermediate goals to plan what you want to become. And that's the point of time you have completed your studies and your internship. So that's the time you should look what you have done well and what are the areas that you can improve. Yeah. Then after completing my ACCA course and 2 years as an assurance associate, so I moved to Singapore. Then I asked by Jeans the reason I moved to Singapore, because I think Singapore is one of the very performing financial hub in Asia, and there are a lot of big companies and big names in Singapore. So like, for example, there are Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Disney. They have their regional headquarters in Singapore. So for me, who is working in finance industry, which is audit assurance industry, so I thought it would be very great that if I have a chance to work here and work with some big companies, I can gain some valuable experience. And I think that's very helpful in my professional career development. So the transition, I think the transition I had overall was fine and overall was good. I think the things here are overall quite affordable, and except for the rental. And I think the main difference, the thing that we need to get used to is the mode of transport, because in Singapore, we heavily rely on public transport, but I think back in Malaysia, we usually drive. Then I think overall was great. Then I have to mention, not to forget to mention that my parents and family are very supportive. And actually, before I moved to Singapore, I do have some relatives, my cousins and aunties are working in Singapore. So I am quite familiar with the environment here. Yeah, I think then work-wise, I think because I was already in PwC, so I'm still being in the same firm. Overall, the working environment, working culture was good, and people are nice here. Then yeah, I think overall was great.
Okay, so I guess it's actually mainly because that the culture and the living style in Singapore and Malaysia are actually quite similar, the language-wise, food and everything. So I believe moving to Singapore perhaps may not be so difficult for you yourself, right? But I always believe that taking the first step is always the hardest, and I am very sure that it is to you as well. And of course, we are very glad that you took that brave step in stepping out of your comfort zone and moving to Singapore to gain more exposures, like you mentioned, in the big companies, in the fast-growing city in Singapore as well. So I believe our participants here are actually curious and actually would like to know what auditors do and what are your day-to-day job scope like.
Okay, I think firstly, let me explain about what is financial audit. So basically, it's an evaluation and examination of the financial statements prepared by an organization. And we are the auditors to make sure that they are free from material misstatements, and the FS is faithfully represent the financial performance and positioning of the entity. So we will call it true and fair view. Then I think the importance of audit is the financial statement is is one of the most important reports by any organization because there will be a lot of stakeholders depend on the report to make financial decisions. So basically, auditors don't prepare any financial records, not preparing any financial statements. We don't do any bookkeeping, but after your client, the organizations has completed and prepared their management account. So that's the point we start our audit. So we are also known as external auditor or independent auditor. So an audit basically consists of 3 stages, which are planning, execution of the audit, and completion. So during the stage of planning, we will carry out procedures to understand the client, understand the business environment, and understand what are the events happen during the year and what are the upcoming projects the company is planning to have. And I think this is the advantage of auditors, and this is the part where auditors is able to learn and expose to various industry working with different clients. And as part of the understanding procedures we will perform, we also will understand the different control procedures in place and implemented by the company. So then after the planning stage are done, then we will carry out our audit procedures like inquiry, observation, performance inspection. So these are more technical terms. So as a auditor, there's an advantage of auditor, I would say because there's a chance for us to expose to different clients and different industry. We are able to understand how people work things out, like things that people do well and areas that can be improved. So in some cases, auditor do give recommendation, like our audit findings recommendations to our client on how to improve their process and to be more efficient. So I think this is also one of the reasons why the commercial workplace is we always prefer a candidate who has the audit experience because that's the advantage we have. So as a more junior staff of audit, so you will take care of some lower risk sections, a lot of vouching works, checking invoice and bank statements. So I think that may sound a bit grinding and boring to many of you all, but when you progress, you will have chance to in charge in some higher risk area, like some technical terms I'll use, like impairment assessment, cash flow projection, and adoption of some new accounting standard. So like for me, recently I was fortunate enough to have opportunities working in some international engagement where I need to work closely with the US team, and I was also the Asia Pacific coordinator of the project. So I have also need to work with some companies in Asia Pacific like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. So I would say that as higher you get to, there will be more about project management, communication, and you will need to exercise more of professional judgment and professional skepticism. So I think, yeah, that basically audits.
So the auditing job sounds very interesting, but based on your experience so far, do you think that ACCA qualification actually help in your job, or do you mind sharing more? Why did you choose to take up or further your ACCA? And then was this something that you have always been aiming on? And most importantly, how is it like to work and take ACCA at the same time?
Okay, there are a few questions. So let me start with the easier one, why I choose ACCA. So I think ACCA has a very strong brand recognition. It helps me to stay relevant in accounting industry, and it's also one of the most popular accounting professional qualification in the world. So, and for me, I think it's important for me to have this professional qualification throughout my career. And I think just for information, and it is a requirement for us to have a professional qualification in order to reach manager level in PwC. And I believe same applies for other big four firms as well. And other than that, if you scroll through LinkedIn, JobStreet, you'll notice that for those more senior roles, you'll notice that they'll prefer a candidate with a professional qualification. Yeah, and another thing is that ACCA in Malaysia, in the context of Malaysia, when you get ACCA membership, you are also qualified as a chartered accountant in Malaysia, which is recognized by the Malaysia Institute of Accountants. So I think that's why ACCA. Then for me, getting ACCA qualification is part of my plan. I think, and it's also one of my goal when I decided to take on accounting course. And also, I know when I decided to take on the 3 years course, commerce accounting in Utah campus instead of the 4-year course, so I decided to pursue ACCA professional qualification. So for me, I started ACCA studies once I've started working, which is somewhere in July 2017. I had my first paper in December 17 and completed in December 19. So it took me exactly 2 years to complete the professional papers. And I think I have to mention for all the Utah students out there, that's a good news. So all the accounting, for commerce accounting and Bachelor of Accounting program in Utah is something like somehow qualified by ACCA. So the students with the degree program, degree qualification, were able to get 9 papers of exemption. So you can start the professional papers without going through the fundamental, or we call that foundation papers or 9 papers. So during my last semester of my studies, I also in Utah, I joined ACCA as Accelerate program. I think that's some they call it it's a fast track to ACCA membership. So I think with that advantage, student will enjoy some heavily discounted fees. And yeah, I think Jean is a better person to explain this, I think, later. Then balancing between working and studying the professional papers, it wasn't easy as a full-time auditor and as a part-time student, I have to say. But I would say it's manageable. And it's a lot about planning your time, setting your goals. So during the course of your exams, so it's very important for you to plan out the timeline of your exam sittings. So it's no longer like in Utah degree program where the Utah will plan everything for you. When's the exam? When's your degree? When's the time for you to hand in your projects or what? So for ACCA, you have to be independent enough. So you need to plan out the timeline of your exam sittings, then plan your study and also your revision time. So in my context, working in PwC, there is a very good learning environment. So after I plan out my exam plans and study plan, so I will discuss with my coach, the mentor or what we call supervisor in the firm, and then also plan out the audit planning throughout the year. So, and then we set the right expectation, I would say, set the right expectation for your work, and then be disciplined. And another thing I will share that is that I'm very glad that I started the study earlier of my working, because you know that the longer you work, when you progress and you have to take up more weeks, more responsibilities, and the job load will also increase. So I'm glad that I started earlier. So for me, another things that I'll share will be other than the study leaves and the exam leaves provided by my firm, I will also utilize some of my annual leaves. I'll block like 1 to 2 weeks for studies during my, plan with my coach. So I'll block my calendar, have a longer period day to focus on the exam. So I'll say it's manageable, and there were some sacrifices, I must say, but I think they're worth it. In addition, I know that recently I just received an email from Utah. I know that there's some ACCA preparatory courses offered by Utah, and there's some weekend class. So if you are interested, maybe you can check with Jean later. Okay. Then after my studies around 3 years of working as an auditor in PwC, So for info, PwC is also one of the platinum employer of ACCA. So after 3 years of working, I got my membership in December last year. Any questions that I've missed out, please let me know, Jean.
Okay, so thank you for the clear and detailed explanation. So I believe everyone here have a better understanding towards how to becoming an ACCA member and also about the industry, the accounting industry, right? So I believe from what you have shared just now, self-discipline, time management is always important when it comes to part-time studies and working at the same time. Okay, so to add on to Mr. Alex sharing, I must say that the ACCA Accelerate program is actually a great program that helps you leap ahead on your journey in becoming the ACCM member. Okay, so this program is actually offered in Utah by the CCDT department. With the ACCA Accelerate program, it allows students from both our accounting program, whether it's the Bachelor of Commerce Accounting or the accounting program, to start off their journey towards ACCA before their graduation. So basically in Utah, we do offer two different types of accounting program. One would be the Bachelor of Accounting, and the other is the Bachelor of Commerce Accounting, where Mr. Alex graduated. Okay, so both programs are offered at different campus, and they both lead towards the pathway of ACCA member, ACCA. Okay, so as a graduate for either program, you will get exemption of 9 papers upon completing the this respective degree program. Okay, so graduates will need to complete the remaining 4 papers under the ACCA strategic professional papers and also to fulfill their experience of 3 years in the accounting industry. Okay, so before we proceed, please allow me to do a further sharing of one of the ACCA top scorer of our Utah graduate, Mr. Yong Teng Wai. So in 2018, Mr. Yong has actually won a Global World Prize winner P1 award for scoring 91% out of 100%. Okay, so as a graduate of the Bachelor of Accounting program in our Sungalong campus, he successfully completed the ACCA examination in March 2019. And he has actually won the third place in the Malaysian Top Affiliates Award. Okay, so if you'd like to find out more about the pathway towards ACCA or more news about our ACCA program, you can also check out our website. So it's actually really great to know that all our graduates are actually doing quite well in this industry. And all right, so Mr. Alex, you there? So let us move back the timeline and talk a little bit more about the academic years that you had with Utah. Okay, so as in my introduction, I've actually shared that you are very active in martial arts, in wushu, and so on. So with all the trainings, the competitions, how did you actually cope between your studies, your assignments, your examination? How did you actually balance up your time for all this?
Yeah, look back to my university days, I think it was really a very enriching experience and as a student in Utah for my past 4 years of study, including my foundation year. So I was one of the Utah varsity players during my studies time. And very fortunately, I had an opportunity to represent Utah in various championship and competition. I had some international fights, like competing with Indonesia, Myanmar, India, and some other countries. So I would say that being an athlete is really not easy, especially you are required to balance your studies and your sports, your competitions. I think some sharings during the preparation of competition, preparation of fights. I have to wake up like 6:30 daily, out for a run in the morning when most of your friends are still in their bed. Then after the run, we will carry on some physical workouts. We will continue the training. Then after that, I'll have to get ready for classes at around 8:30. So I wash up, then go classes. Then after class in the afternoon, there'll be another sessions of training depending on what time my class ends. So usually after classes, I'll take a very quick nap and maybe half an hour of nap. Then I'll go to the gym again for training, focusing more on techniques for around 2 hours. And other than these very exhausting training that I need to commit to, it's also very important for an athlete to maintain a very healthy lifestyle, like going to bed early, wake up early, and maintain a healthy diet, maintain your weight. So being that it's very important to stay disciplined and have a very good time management. I say that there were some sacrifices also. And luckily, I mean, to share with you guys, as part of Utah courses, there are always some consultation hours available from our tutors and lecturer. So they are always more than happy to help. So you can book your time with the lecturers or tutors and you can consult. So I think that's I did utilize that, and that's very important. Another thing is that in Utah, studying in Utah, we have a lot of alternative classes like replacement classes available in Utah. So like for the same class, they may have maybe 2 or 3 same classes in a week. So I think you also need to plan in advance so you can replace a class. I think these are I'll call it flexibility offered by the university. It's also very important and has helped me a lot in balancing my sports and academic. Then I think to be very honest, throughout my journey as an athlete in Utah, there were some points that I thought of giving up, and I think that's normal. That there must be some very negative thoughts coming up from your mind when you're struggling. So I think it's very important that to set goals and then always remember that why you have started, and then the goal you have set, and try to be persevere and determined enough in achieving the plan and the goal that you have set, because we always know that, right, there's no shortcut for hard works. And another thing that I must mention is that Utah is a very supporting university, other than no matter in academic or in sports or other areas. So they do recognize the effort students have put in, and yeah. So with all the efforts I put in, that's in the end of the day, I was awarded as the Sport Person of the Year in 2017. And that's really satisfying, I would say, yeah.
So it's really a relief to know that there are so many supports given, and also the extra consultation hours, flexible timetable that you could actually arrange your semester, your classes accordingly. But as Mr. Alex mentioned, that you need to have prior planning to your next semester or to the following plans that you have in the competitions and also in your class timetable. So I believe this could support a balanced student life here at Utah. And talking about that, so was martial arts something that you started learning in the university, or you have already been training since your high school?
Yes, actually, I first started martial arts in Taekwondo when I was 8 years old. Then after 11 years of training, I got my second degree black belt. But when I came to Utah, that was the first time I tried on Wushu Sanda, and that was also the time where I first tried on Muay Thai. So I think that during the studies in Utah, that was also the most active period that I'm actively involved in different level of competitions. So I think throughout the journey as an athlete, as a sportman, I really learned a lot, I would say. So I think especially when you are students, you are full-time students, and you need to manage your sports, your competition. So I've learned to have a better time management and be disciplined, like persevere and determined to achieve goal. And also a very important part is better stress management. So look back in my uni life, I would say being an athlete it plays a very important part in my university life, and that has really enriched my experience. Then I'll take this opportunity to encourage my friends to join society and clubs that Utah offer, because we always know that studying or exams is not all about. Studying in uni is not all about exams. So it's also a time to learn about managing events and society and develop some soft skills like project management, time management. So I think also some communication skill where you need to liaise with different team and different people. So actually, other than competing, I was also involved in some managing some events, because I was a part of the EXCO members in Utah Wushu Club. So I also had the opportunity to involve in managing the society, organizing some events that had like training camps, championships, and some big and small events lah. So I think through that I did learn a lot. I would say it's a very good experience. So like learn I think develop some leadership skill, communication skills, and all these counts. I think at the end of the day, I think all these skills that you have acquired, developed in your uni life, I think this really makes you more competitive in workplace. As nowadays the employers are, other than just looking at your academic result, your CGPA, they're also looking for people with more like managing event skills, more soft skills. So I think that's very important. I'll encourage everyone to to involve in more societies and events when you are studying in Utah.
So I'm glad that you can still actually practice your martial arts or whatever you love, even at university level, and even gain more exposures here in Utah. Okay, so for your information, Utah actually offers more than 70 programs ranging 70 clubs in society, ranging from course-based, general interest, performing creative arts, voluntary, self-defense, and other clubs in society as well. And also Utah focuses a lot on student soft skill, where students are gain a lot of opportunities to participate in soft skills training, in leadership, communication, and many other sectors. Okay, so before we move to our Q&A session here, is there any advice from you to our juniors here at Utah, and also to those secondary students who has just got their results and are interested in this accounting program?
Yeah, I think it's very important for everyone to understand more about themselves. So throughout the journey, study journey, so it's other than learning, acquiring knowledge, learning about knowledge, you also is a time for you to learn about yourself, understand about yourself, what you want to pursue, and what you want to become. So with that, please set intermediate goals, like things you want to achieve in maybe 1 to 3 years time. Then be determined and persevere enough towards your goal. Really put in effort, so don't give up so easily, because remember, there's no shortcut to hard works. And then for those who have yet to decide which program or course that you want to take, please do not hesitate to talk to our kind program advisors and your seniors in Utah. They are more than happy to help, I'm very sure. And for my friends and people, for students out there who are starting their internship soon, so I will recommend you to take internship opportunities seriously. Do really think and plan ahead, about your internship, and then what's your first job that you want to be. And then throughout your internship experience, try to be humble and always be keen to learn, and really enjoy your life as a university students in Utah. And lastly, be open and try more things and explore more opportunities in Utah. Like we have more than 70 clubs and societies in Utah. I'm quite sure one will fit you very well. I wish everyone all the best. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Alex, for the sincere advice. If you have any questions for Mr. Alex or about the program offered in Utah, you can put them in the chat box and we will try to answer all the questions at our very best. Okay, so while we wait for the questions, I would like to highlight to you about the Utah scholarships that we offer. So at Utah, we offer several scholarships for students like the Top Achiever Scholarship, Sports Scholarship, Talent Scholarship, and many other scholarships for eligible students. So at Utah, we even offer ACCA scholarship offered to selected students in the Bachelor of Commerce Accounting as well as the Bachelor of Accounting program who had also enrolled in the ACCA preparatory course conducted under the Center of Corporate and Community Development. So for those Utah students who are actually in either of these accounting program and you have actually applied or you're planning to apply to the preparatory program, you can actually apply for this ACCA scholarship as well. So if you wish to find out more about this ACCA scholarship preparatory course or the Accelerate program, as mentioned by Mr. Alex earlier, you can also contact Miss Iris. Okay, so I will put Miss Iris' contact details in the chat box. If you have any inquiries, do not hesitate to contact Miss Iris. Okay. So let's, I think we have a few questions here in the chat box. So let's go through one by one. Okay, so there's one question from Xin Yi. So what is the minimum requirement to enter Big Four? What she means is the CGPA, or what is actually Big Four looking in a fresh graduate. Do you have any idea on that, Mr. Alex?
For me, I can't really comment on behalf of the firm because I'm also consider myself quite new to the firm. But I do know that there is some requirement on CGPA, but different firms have different requirements. So I think it's better for you to search online, to look at in the website to confirm. But I know that so what the question is, CGPA is around 3.1. I think you do have a chance to enter. And what are the firms is looking for, I think is so academic result is a basic requirement, I must say, because accounting, I mean for me, working as an auditor, it's kind of like professional. So the technical, the skill, the knowledge that you have acquired in your studies is really relevant and really applicable in your day-to-day job, your day-to-day work. So it's very important that academic is one of the requirements. Then other than that, I would say all the other soft skills and all the other relevant experience, like maybe you involved in sports, involved in music, managing events or club and societies in Utah. I think that really helps because that proves that you are the kind of person that you are willing to learn, you are willing to help, and I think I try to be active. I think I would say with all the experience that counts.
So I guess summing up what Mr. Alex have mentioned, that is apart from your academic, you also need to have a good personality, involvement in other clubs and societies, soft skills, and everything that sums up you as a person. So of course, all this apart from CGPA, it will be conducted through the interview, and the way of you carrying yourself in front of the interviewers is very important apart from your CGPA. What attracts the first impression would of course be your CGPA and whatever is written in your portfolio. So I guess that is what Mr. Alex would like to advise, is not just focus on your academic result, but also on the other things that could bring up your portfolio. Okay, so the next question from Roy is, I would like to ask, as now it's a big data era and everything is going to be replaced by AI. So does this affect conventional accountant? And how about the industry have been respond on this to upgrade the firm's employee face to face these changes. So perhaps in replacement to I guess you could brief Roy, our participant, even better, perhaps from what you are doing in your day-to-day life, whether will it be replaced with AI or not?
Hey, thanks, Roy. That's a very good question. I think I would like to challenge whether everything's are going to be replaced by AI. I think at this point of time, I think it's still, I mean, if you are doing a job like a very routine job, like book maybe like key in invoices or really some very basic job, I think that from over time that will be replaced by AI. I think that's a fact. Yeah, but I think there are a lot of areas that still require professional judgment and professional skepticism that we always exercise. So I think in the firm, in my environment, we do have a lot of, we do utilize a lot on what you have mentioned, like big data and AI. We use some very high level data analytics program to perform the audit, to do some very we use the data program in order to perform the audit, in order to reach our the purpose of audit. So I would say with the help of AI and help of all the technologies that we have today, it makes us more efficient in doing our work. It makes it helps, but in terms of replacing whether you will be replaced or not, I think that's so I think the firm always encourage people to continually develop yourself to acquire more skills. So I think in the past, auditors maybe we just do the accounting, like more of vouching, more of checking the supporting documents. But in today's context, in nowadays, we will utilize more technologies, data analytics program to help audit. So I think, yeah. So I think I would not so soon to be replaced, I think.
So as the technology advances, we ourselves will develop more skills to compete with the technology. So I do agree with Alex as well that AI may replace human, but not so soon. So we can't say in the future, but at least for what we see, not so soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think also depending on what you are, the things that you are working on. So if it's a very repetitive works, the machines can do better than human. So I think that, yeah, if that's the case, then
yes,
to be very honest, it will be replaced. But I think for some skills, some human skills is still very important. I will encourage all the students. I think Utah is also encouraging people to develop some IT skills other than the course that you are taking. Like accounting course, we do learn about some IT. I think we have some IT subjects and stuff. Yeah, that's very helpful.
Okay, so next question from Kahin. For fresh graduate, is it advisable or is it better to start to work in the Big Four or SME? So I guess working in the Big Four or SME, it depends on your goal and what you are planning to achieve on. I guess working in Big Four or SME, you get to learn different things and you meet different people and the approaches and the learning environment is totally different. So yeah, I guess for fresh graduate, you can, if you are able to get into Big Four, that is of course a very good opportunity and you should take it. And if not, you should also take your SME opportunities seriously and start learning from there. And then if your aim is towards Big Four, you can still move on from there, right? So I don't think you should, penalize whether Big Four is better or SME is better. Both have their different learning opportunities and things to learn. Okay. So next, as the current pandemic and our new working environment, does auditing is carried out online? Does the company have send their documents for your evaluation? Does this lead to cybersecurity issue? So I think this question you could answer them better.
Yeah, okay. With the current pandemic, I started my Singapore job in February last year, which is the very beginning of the pandemic. So I think just right after 1 or 2 months of working, then I was asked to work from home with most of the supporting documents to be delivered by clients in soft copies. So I do agree with you if you're asking me about the authenticity of the supporting documents and documents provided from by client, but the authenticity, yes, there's an extra work for us to do to validate the authenticity. But I think with the digitalization, so we rely heavily on technologies. So before the pandemic, the firm has already encouraged our to work. We call it paperless work. Okay, in the past we do have a lot of documents in paper, but the firm has been encouraging people to work paperless. Okay, so and in the context of Singapore, I think most of my clients do have their things online because with the utilization of ERP system nowadays, they do have all the very important most of the important stuff in soft copies. So that really helps in our audit work. And then cyber security wise, yes, I think the firm has a very strict rules that we cannot send documents like via our personal email or stuff. But cyber security wise, the firm is taking care of. So I don't know how that works on, but the firm is taking care of the cyber security. So I think it really affects our work. At some point there is additional work that we need to consider, additional things that we need to consider, but in some point there is also I think it also makes things easier. In the past maybe we need to look at the physical documents, but now all in soft copy. There are pros and cons. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So I guess cybersecurity issues are actually taken care by the company, by I think most company, especially in this pandemic period where everyone is working online, everyone is working from home. So I believe every company has actually looked into this issue, especially in the accounting firms and the sensitive documents that you have to deal with online and everything. I believe cybersecurity have been handled properly by the company. Okay. So next question is still Alex. For the long term, would it be advisable to stay in the audit or would it be advisable to change to other departments?
Okay. Hi, Justine. Thanks for the question. I think it depends on your personal goal. I really can't comment. Even for myself, I do not know how long I'm going to stay in the field of audit. So it really depends on your goal. And one advice that I can give is that please do set your intermediate goals that I have mentioned earlier in my second session. So like things you want to achieve in 1 or 2 years, like for if you are involved in audit, what you want to achieve and what you want to learn. So maybe after 1 or 2 years is the point of time that you can pause and then reassess your goal, review your goal, see whether how things are going. So if everything is great, everything is good, and you still enjoy doing what you are doing, so you can continue for you can set another goal, like maybe 1 or 2 years. So I think it depends on personal goals and based on my observation, there are some people stay in audit field for very long, like 20, 30 years, then they are doing very great. And there are also a lot of people like maybe they stay in audit, gain some experience, then they jump into commercial, and they're also doing very well. So I think it depends on you.
So from Roy, a top-up question from his earlier question. So as mentioned that the firm have been using some high advanced data analytic tools. So as accounting students or accounting graduates, that they did not learn much on the data analytic skills or programming language. So would it be a disadvantage for us if compared with the accounting graduates with information system knowledges, where they can easily catch up with the advanced data analytic tools? Do you recommend us to take up data analytic tools during university, like Power BI, which will be more advantage being land position in Big Four?
I can't really remember what was all of the subjects that I had during my uni time, but I do remember that I took on some IT subjects. You know, uh, I information system is also one of the subject I remember. But I think specifically mentioned by Roy is that whether data analytics skills is useful and whether it's important. I'll say definitely yes, it's very important in today's era. Think so yes, if you have a chance or opportunity, whether there's an optional subject that you can take, so please go ahead. Gaining the data analytical skills is yeah, very important, not only in accounting field but in all the fields. Yeah.
Yeah, there is actually one subject on the information technology in the degree program as well. So if you're coming up from foundation, you will also have some IT backgrounds in your foundation year itself as well. So like Mr. Alex mentioned, that if there is any additional short courses or any additional subjects that you could take up on data analytics, do go ahead to add on the additional skills to your portfolio. Okay, so another question from YF Dan. As there are a lot of professional papers in the market, why would you choose ACCA and not other professional papers?
There are a few actually. The more popular one. So ACCA is one of the very popular one. I did consider about other courses, but I mean, in my past experience, when I do my internship, so I have some seniors that have already taken ACCA, so they do recommend it. And in context of Utah, I think so I also had an opportunity to join the ACCA Accelerate program while I was studying in Utah. So I mean, in my experience, so I think that's why I chose ACCA, I would say, because yeah, of all the chances and the sharings by my senior. So then same, I cannot comment about other professional qualification because I never had an opportunity to try on. But ACCA so far is very good, and then it's I think it's also very important that ACCA is recognized by MIA, which is the Malaysia Institute of Accountant. So once you get ACCA, you also get a professional qualification as a chartered accountant in Malaysia. Yeah, so I think this is the thing that we should consider about.
So I guess which professional paper to take also depends on your goals, where you are working, and whether the cost or the price of the examination is an issue to you or not. So all this you need to take into consideration before you actually take up the examinations, right? So if for students who are planning to go overseas or to work overseas, the qualification or the professional paper that you should take would be different for those who are planning to work in Malaysia itself only. So perhaps in which professional papers to take to suit your pathway, you can also speak to your lecturers, to the your seniors, or when you're in your internship, you can also consult your supervisors and so on which pathway to take. Okay. So we do actually have a little bit more time, and we can take one more question if there is. Okay, so for those participant attending our webinar today, please do not forget to fill out our evaluation form, which my colleague will put the link in the comment in the chat box. So please fill out the evaluation form to provide your comments so that we could improve in our future webinars. So I guess that is all the questions we have for today. So we will be having a series of webinar in conjunction to our Cyber Open Day. And for tomorrow, we will be having a webinar on the role of IT in the pandemic of COVID-19 at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So we do have other webinars and other topics daily in the morning and also in the afternoon. So students who are interested to find out more, you are strongly encouraged to join our webinars. If you wish to find out more about our programs, do not hesitate to contact us through our hotline or visit our Cyber Open Day at openday.utah.edu.my. So our program advisors are actually available on live chat, video chat, and also on our hotline from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Not forgetting, next week there will be another alumni series on 25th of June 2021 on Everyone is Human Calculator. Use it or lose it. So this is also another series on our alumni sharing. So if you're interested, please join us. And I guess that is all the time we have for today. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Alex, for taking off your time from your busy schedule to do this sharing with us today. So on behalf of the university, we are proud to have you as our alumni, and all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Jean. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, stay safe. All the best.
Bye.
Bye.